I'll just take that.
It's fine. I think it's fine.
That's fine. Okay. So when a person is considered dead, a person is brain dead and breathing with the help of ventilator, but heart is beating spontaneously. Would this person be called dead? As there are no chances that this patient would survive and may stay on the machine for a long time before heart stops spontaneously. Please know that these patients are cared usually in ICU, and their management is not only very expensive, but also they occupy an intensive care unit bed which could be utilized in the care of other salvageable patients. In some instances, a person has appointed another person, usually a close family member, to make decisions for his or her health in case they are unconscious or are not in the physical or mental condition to make their own health decisions. This appointed person is usually called healthcare proxy or power of attorney. If a person is on life support, including ventilator, and doctors do not think that this patient would survive in the long term or the chances of a meaningful recovery are scant, healthcare proxy may speak on behalf of the patient and may ask to discontinue the efforts and withdraw the life support, including the breathing tube. This may lead to immediate death of the patient. Please comment on this. Also comment how a Muslim physician should deal with these circumstances for a Muslim patient versus a non-Muslim patient. Few good questions, and I think all of you should, think about these. Okay. If you want, we can have a discussion next week. If you want, we can discuss some today and some next week. A few things come to my mind immediately. Number one is that if you have put the ventilator, okay, once you have put it, okay, it cannot be removed. Okay. Now, are there any gray areas? This question has been asked in the absolute terms, so gray areas were not discussed at that time. Okay, but I think what we have come up with shows some gray areas which should be talked and discussed in detail. The first thing is, in addition to removing the ventilator, what is death itself? You say the person is not breathing spontaneously, but the heart is functioning spontaneously. Heartbeat is there. Okay, the blood is being pumped. Okay, the breathing is not there, but the heart is pumping. Okay. So, is clinical death, or whatever definition New York State or other states may have of death, okay, is the death cessation of breathing or stopping of heart?
Brain dead is considered dead.
Brain dead is considered dead.
Brain dead is considered dead, and one can withdraw support without asking family and healthcare proxy.
Once the person is brain dead.
Once the person is brain dead,
Mm-hmm.
It's considered that person is not going to recover,
Mm-hmm.
and at some point the heart would stop until the time the patient would just occupy the bed. It's considered dead.
He's considered dead.
It's considered dead.
And usually, it's just a matter of time before the heart stops functioning. Okay. The day before yesterday or the day before that, there was an article in New York Times about 2 or 3 patients in the vegetative state who showed reflexes. Okay. I didn't read that article in details, but and this is when the support is removed. Okay. So if the support is removed, okay, and there is, reflexes, monitored, the person is alive then, isn't it?
So there are 2 types of reflexes.
Mm-hmm.
One is central, one is spinal.
Mm-hmm.
So if somebody's brain dead,
Mm-hmm.
should not, exhibit central reflexes which
Mm-hmm.
come from the brain.
Mm-hmm.
But if somebody is brain dead,
Mm-hmm.
spinal cord is below the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So one may have
Spinal reflexes.
spinal reflexes. For example, if you
Movement,
scratch
yeah.
the belly, the skin would
Mm-hmm.
move and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff,
Mm-hmm.
or the knee jerk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So these would be spinal.
Mm-hmm. So they could exist.
They could still be there.
So if the person shows spinal reflexes, can we consider him to be dead?
If from the technical point of view, from medical here,
Mm-hmm.
so there are different criteria how to find out if somebody is brain dead.
Mm-hmm.
The clinical criteria and there are imaging as well.
Mm-hmm.
So one of them is done with giving a patient trial to stop the breathing machine for a little while and see if patient has its own spontaneous breathing effort
Mm-hmm.
a little bit or not.
Mm-hmm.
And then test the blood if carbon dioxide is building in the body or not.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the tests.
Mm-hmm.
The others are, clinical examination, plus there are brain scans
Mm-hmm.
in which they look for any flow of blood within the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So, brain scans could be done reliably to say that there is no blood flow and it's gone. Once the brain is gone, if the heart continues to beat at spinal level, it is like if you take out a heart from anybody and put it somewhere and it beat for I don't know how long on its own.
Mm-hmm.
But the fate would be at the end of the day, stop beating. Because the brain is gone, so no person is not going to wake up.
When we say the person is in vegetative state, for example, okay, what we are considering that he is clinically dead?
No, vegetative state, it's a wide term. It's a kind of non-medical term.
Mm-hmm.
The vegetative state is, it's thought to be a condition in which a person is just lying down like a vegetable and people are taking care of him, whatever is required.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of, at this point, the person can have a brain and may not have a brain. So it's kind of a non-clinical term, or maybe equal to a coma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And coma is a term when somebody is not responsive, simply.
Mm-hmm.
Brain death is a different. One can be in a coma or in a vegetative state with brain death and without brain death.
Okay, so brain dead is where, the reflexes and brain terms originating from brain are gone.
Or brain has
stopped functioning.
Has stopped functioning.
Okay. In this article, they say that brain dead in one country but not another. That if you see the bar there, okay, the definition itself of brain dead, differs. And he says that the comment is telling, even within the U.S. guidelines can vary. Each state and each individual hospital can develop their own guidelines. Okay. He compared guidelines within 50 top U.S. hospitals and found differences in the attention paid to confounding factors and how they assess patients' ability to breathe unaided. Okay. So, this is something that has not been, so as to say, even in the medical circles, consensus.
There's no
Yeah.
single consensus.
Yeah.
But in general, it's considered when somebody, there could be a difference in the ideology that when is person brain dead. But whenever it's considered brain dead, I do not know the laws, itself, but I think when somebody is considered brain dead, medical ethics in this country allow to withdraw the rest of life support.
Rest of life support.
And at that point, you can tell family, but the family cannot resist the withdrawal of the life support.
I see. They don't have the right to.
They do not have. Usually, it happens that physician tell them that he's gone, and nobody wants their loved one to stay on the machine while they're dead. So invariably, unless the family has some issues, and there are so many monetary and other issues, or somebody has to come from far, they request, my brother is coming from Australia, can you just, keep him on the machine for another few hours, or blah, blah, blah. But in general, after somebody is considered brain dead, the life support can be withdrawn without asking family.
Okay. So now we need an Islamic definition of clinical death. Okay, that's one. What is, or brain dead, that's one. Now, the earlier question that does the person presents himself, he is able to tell you at that time that he doesn't want, any life support.
It's a very common scenario in this country when somebody gets a cardiac arrest or something happens, are found unresponsive on the sidewalk, an ambulance called and brought in here. At that time, they have no some people wear the bands of do not resuscitate
DNR, yeah.
and stuff like that, but everybody doesn't. So in that condition, if the EMS or the ambulance people do not know what to do,
they'll put the ventilator.
By definition, it is considered do everything. And
Yeah.
they intubate and start the chest compression and everything. So in that, it's a very well-known kind of scenarios when somebody comes in intubated and with a chest compression in the emergency room, they are put on the machines, and the family comes with a living will saying that he never wanted all that stuff. So in general here, if the family agrees at that time, or whoever the next of kin or power of attorney or healthcare proxy, if they agree, usually the emergency room staff withdraw the life support and all that stuff.
I see.
But if sometimes it happens, then the power of attorney or healthcare proxy says, now he didn't want that, but now it has already happened, so let's give him another chance. So in that condition, we consider healthcare proxy's words as patient's own words. So we go by them. But that's the scenario. That in case somebody comes in and is already intubated and never wanted that. And now it's a Muslim patient. The first question was, do Muslim have, because we think that whatever we have has to return to Allah, and He's the real owner of our body and soul. So we have right, but we probably have a limited right.
Yes.
So do we have a right to decide that if something happens, I just don't want this, or are we bound to seek whatever help is available?
This is a very extensive question, because one is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us life and has appointed time for death. Okay, that we know. Okay. Now, I don't know the time of death. I know the time of my birth because I was born. Okay. That has happened and I am aware of it. But I don't know what's the time of death. So for me to come to you and say, listen, I don't want this treatment. Okay. I want to die natural death. Okay.
Exactly. This is the new term, allow natural death.
Yeah, that term is used. Okay. I want to die natural death. Okay. I am resisting what you think is the appropriate treatment for the disease that I have. Okay. All I am telling you is that I am in sheer pain. Relieve me of the pain. That's all. I have a friend, by the way. Okay. The doctors have told him of dialysis. Okay. He was my class fellow. He's a pharmacist himself. Okay. He has worked for about 25 years in the hospital. Okay. And he knows pretty much whatever has to be done. But he is refusing it. Okay. He says that, I don't want to go through this. Every week, twice a week, or whatever time it is. Okay. I just want to live. The appointed time comes. Whether you are treating me or not, I'm going to die. Okay. Why should I get the additional pain of going through this? Okay. It's a question. Okay. Does the patient have a right to say that? Yes. Okay. And no also. Okay. Yes, in the sense that his conceptually, that there is an appointed period of death, a time that person has to die. Okay. He's going to die. Okay. Whatever the time is, he doesn't know it. Okay. But he's going to die. Maybe it's tomorrow or 10 years down the road. Okay. The difference now is that from this period to the time of death, all he wants is freedom from pain. Okay. And not going through extra pain of the treatment. Okay. For example, a person has cancer, okay, as you gave the example, okay, and chemotherapy or radiation, whatever the treatment is. Okay. The person knows that chemotherapy is very painful by side effects, okay, and it really, hurts you a lot, okay, physically. He knows that whatever the doctors may say that is going to extend your life